Hello. Yay. I'm back. And on a Friday, Saturday. Oh my goodness. All right. So, YouTube slapped me on the wrist. They said, "Don't play good music." And I said, "Okay." But I'm tempting fate a little bit today. I won't play it on stream, the music. But yeah, let me turn the music, this music down. I got some copyright free bossa nova. Should be. If it gets copyright claimed, I'm gonna be very upset. But well, so the way this is gonna work, I'm so disorganized right now. Or my thoughts are disorganized. Let me try again here. Welcome to the oh shit, Beatles, the most based Beatles album opinion. As you can see down here, I got all the, I think I have cursor capture on. If not, it's whatever. Or maybe I do. It should be on. I can't see it though. Maybe it's because I'm not clicked in. Oh, there you go. All right, here's the you see I have all the just normal Beatles albums. I know there's like technically, you can count the anthology and whatever else. These are like the main real shit. Wait. Whatever. I'll deal with it later. The White Album's in here somewhere. I think it's over one of the other ones. It's white. It blends in. It's anyways. It's in there, but it's like probably here. This is basically all the main Beatles albums, and I included this one because it's technically, but regardless, this is gonna be the most crazy based opinionated Beatles album ranking or whatever. Now, I'm a Beatles fan. I really am, through and through. And in preparation, I just watched, or I was watching just literally an hour ago, I was just watching the Peter Jackson Get Back Beatles documentary, which is just, it's so good, so very good. Today I should focus on. It is very, very good, and I'm in the mood. I'm ready to go off today. So, let me take a sip of my coffee. I might have to grab some more in a sec, but I'm so ready. I'm ready. Okay. So how this is gonna work is I'm gonna go through each album one by one. And I'll pick out a song that's my favorite on each album, because I definitely have a favorite on each album, at least. Favorite song. And then I will rate them just how I feel. And as you can see, this little rule, I have to fill out each category because I can easily just, honestly, my honest opinion here, I could probably just I'd probably throw every Beatles album into C tier, and then put the ones I like. Yes, because other than, I think all of them are pretty good. All of them are pretty good. For their music, And so these albums are in release order from their first to their last, or release order. We'll get to, I'll talk about because every album was not recorded when they were released or in the order they were recorded. It's complicated. Anyways, I'm trying to think of anything else I need to say. No, okay. And when we do listen to this, I'm gonna listen along, but I will post in the chat. Because YouTube got upset at me last stream. That stream's gone. I tried to save it, but it's gone to the void. So it's okay, ain't nothing I can do about that. What I did talk about in that stream was doing, I think it was a tier list. And what this tier list was going to be, it was going to be like a ASMR triggers tier list. I talked about it last stream. It doesn't exist anymore, so. But I talked about it and I was like, man, I should do that like today or yesterday or whatever. But I was like, man, that'd be so much work to get every trigger. So I'll postpone that one. And so we're doing this one because it was a little easier to set up and a little less research on my part, because I'm not like a Beatles nerd or anything, but I think I'm pretty knowledgeable just off the top of my head. And obviously I was watching the Peter Jackson Beatles thing, but I've been going on like Beatles rabbit holes like the entire week, or since I came up with the tier list idea, which was like Thursday or Wednesday or so. I don't know. Or Tuesday, maybe. But I'm not even sure. So. Is that all I want to say? Is that everything I want to say? Yeah, okay. So let's get into it. First one we got on the docket here is Please Please Me. Is their first album ever recorded. But they had been recording before this. Quarrymen, if you don't know about it. It's their first, like, it was before Beatles. It was mainly John's, like, band or whatever. But then, Paul and George joined, and then Ringo eventually. And they rebranded for some reason. I don't remember. There's a reason, but I don't remember. And they rebranded as the Beatles. And this is their first album recording. But it wasn't their like first recording, I think their first recording was like In Spite of All the Danger or something like that. Regardless, I think this is a good album, for their first one. And might I add, they recorded this in like a day. This is a day album. And it's not that like, it's not like they made up the songs in a day. They already had a bunch of songs at this point. They had like, I think they had all the songs basically done, and they had already worked them out, or John and Paula did at least. And the ones, it just took them a day to record everything basically. Let me pull for myself. I don't know. So this is one of their albums where I'm a little torn here, because a lot of the songs are very kind of like very just like 50s, 60s, like really like whatever kind of like love rock, whatever. I don't know what you would call it. Just early rock, I guess. And it's not that good. Well, it's good. It's good for what it is. But it's like I'm thinking of like everything else it's gonna come after this. Well, mostly everything that's gonna come after this. Like even like the early stuff that like is sort of like this. But I think there's some really good songs that like, stand out, and like certain songs like Please Please Me and Twist and Shout, or Love Me Do, or I Saw Her Standing There. Particularly I Saw Her Standing There and Twist and Shout, which are still like songs that people know, right? Nobody remembers There's a Place from Please Please Me. So it has good songs though. That's my biggest thing. Is it's a pivotal thing in the Beatles discography. And deciding what my favorite song on this album is kind of hard. It's between well, Twist and Shout is definitely like a bit nerfed in my opinion, because of I've just heard it so many times even before I started liking the Beatles or getting like into it, their lore or whatever. You know, even before I like knew about the Beatles, I heard the Twist and Shout on like everything. It's a little less these days, but like still, like back then it was like, ugh, I don't want to hear this song for the 1000th time. And it's kind of a cringe song from the Beatles, I won't even lie. Shake It Up Baby Now, I don't know. So that's why I'm a little biased. I don't really like Twist and Shout. I Saw Her Standing There because it has a good bass. The bass on that song is awesome, and playing it is very fun. But Please Please Me is a very like, the original Please Please Me is not that good compared to a live version I think they did in like Washington DC. It's like the first thing that comes up when you look up Please Please Me on YouTube. We might even just listen to that one, but it's the first thing that comes up. It's the first thing that comes up when you look up Please Please Me on YouTube. And they don't play it like they do in the like studio version or the album version. They play it a little faster, and I think that's why I like it. Like it. We'll listen to this one together. Well, this is a practice to see how this will be. There's like and recently there was like a remastered version that someone made here. Yeah. All right. So work. I'll just say 3, 2, 1, go. There it is in the chat. Hopefully the chat stays. Hopefully the chat lives for a while. It's the Please Please Me live, upscaled, dynamically colorized Washington DC show. That's it. And then I will lower the music, but I'm not gonna fully lower the music, so you might hear it through my headphones, and YouTube might cry. So let's get about there. Okay. I will say 3, 2, 1, and then we will. And then we will. And then you will, on go, you will hit play. Oop, it's fucking loud. I'll turn it a little down. So just hit 0 on your keyboard. You know, start the video. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, A. And I think I calculated the BPM. Like the original is like in 4/4. The BPM is I think it was like 140 or something. But in this live show, they play it like 150 or 155 or something. And it goes a lot harder. Dum, dum, you don't need me to show the way. Love. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's like it goes really hard up in that, and they just, I don't know why they're playing it faster. They were just feeling energetic or whatever. But it's 10 times better, I think. I don't want to sound complaining, but you know there's always rain in my heart. In my heart, I do all the pleasing with you. It's so hard to reason with you. Oh yeah, why do you make me blue? I think like at the beginning of this, and Paul's like, released it in UK, did nothing, we used to hear, or so, I don't know, he's saying, now it's doing something. Come on, come on. And it's definitely one of their like earlier popular songs, but they were already like, they were going off in like Europe and the UK. Yeah, like I please you. Whoa, yeah, like I. And there's also plenty of like Beatles singles that never made it to an album, like uh, I won't. I want to hold your hand. Okay, the video ended. I want to hold your hand and Day Tripper and Hey Jude, you know, but good Beatles songs in their own right, but they're not on an album, which sucks. Well, they're on albums. They're like on the anthologies and the blue and the red albums or whatever, but those don't count. They're just, they don't count. They don't count. As well as Don't Let Me Down. Oh my god. Regardless. But I do think Please Please Me is my favorite song on the album. But it's not, like I said, does it count? Because it's not like the version that I don't like is on the album, but like the version that like makes me like this song is just a live performance by them that's just faster. I'm gonna count it though, you know, because it's whatever. It's a song. That's what song. I think I'd still like Please Please Me. I still like Please Please Me on the album. I definitely because I used to just listen to this album every day for a while. But definitely, you know, I wouldn't, you know, I would say the most underrated songs on this album is like the, you know, stuff like Do You Want to Know a Secret and like Ask Me Why and stuff like that. But, you know, Please Please Me, it's just an obvious choice for this, like my favorite song on this album. But where this album goes is definitely not an obvious choice to me. I definitely wouldn't put it here. There's definitely albums I like less than this album. I think I'll put it D. D is, I think, an appropriate place to put it. Now, I made this tier list not from like S to F or whatever, because F tier kind of implies that it's like it's a shit album. But you know, I can't say that about Beatles album. I like all of them, even if they like don't have, if like there's not enough songs where I can say, oh, I like a lot of those songs. Like, I don't know. It's just, I think their general musical ability and the harmony, particularly, they like, I think that you could count on like both your hands, like the songs that they sang alone, like where there was no harmony, maybe even only one hand, but I don't even know. But I don't know if I could put like, say something is shit for the Beatles. No, well, you know, Revolution Number 9 is kind of bad. It's really, I mean, it's not a song. It's like an avant-garde, whatever, but. And you know, people always quote Tomorrow Never Knows, and we'll get to that anyways. Okay, moving on. With the Beatles, this is their second album. It's not really an album though. Like there's some of the songs, there's some songs on this album that are theirs, but most of them are like covers. Like Please Mr. Postman is a, you know, cover, and Roll Over Beethoven, and Really Got a Hold on Me, I think is, I don't know. So it's like a mix between covers and some of their leftover songs that might have got put in on Please Please Me. I think the only reason they were left out is like, wasn't because, oh, it just didn't fit the album or something. It was just probably because it wouldn't have fit, well, physically have fit the album. Because you have to think about that, right? They planned around like discs, like having an A and a B side or whatever. And I think it could only hold like, at the time, with probably only like 20 some minutes. Like 25 maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so that was probably the only reason these songs really didn't go on the first one. But there's some good songs in this one and good covers too. Please Mr. Postman is probably, it's a recognizable one that people probably don't even know is from the Beatles. I sure did. That's how I felt when I first saw it. When I first saw that or heard that song on this album, I definitely was like, what? This is Beatles? And some other songs that were also recognizable, but I don't know if I've like Roll Over Beethoven. I've heard that song before, but I don't know if I've ever heard George Harrison like sing it. He sings it good. It's a good song on this album as well, but definitely the most popular song on this album. Like, unlike Please Please Me, where like Twist and Shout and like I Saw Her Standing There and Please Please Me were all like very popular songs, I think All My Loving has like stood the test of time of everything. And it has a really good bass line and it's very catchy. I think that's why it's the most popular, and it was the most popular back in the day too. I think it was one of those songs that they played for a very long time. Even after this, way after this album, probably all the way up to Help, they probably played it in their live shows and such because it was like a fan favorite. Some other good songs I think I like on this album is like Devil in Her Heart and Money. That's What I Want. It's a very funny song. It's one of those, it's a catchy song. It's a funny song. He says, money, buy me a thrill or something like that. It's a funny song. I forget what he says. Your lovin' give me a thrill, but your lovin' don't pay my bills. Like, so it's a funny song. And then I think John also sang it, like in that one live show where he did in Vancouver or something like that, and it's like there's a part where like Yoko like goes under a bed sheet or something and starts like screaming in pure Yoko style. But yeah, it's a good song. I like it. I always liked it. I think also Hold Me Tight is one of those other ones that I think it's kind of underrated. The harmonies in that song is very good. It's been a while since I've heard this album, but I think I still have. Also Till There Was You. That's another like popular one. Not as much as All My Loving for sure, but it's definitely like a song that they played, probably about as much as All My Loving. So I think the song we'll listen to now. We'll listen to this one. Boom, 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 boom. I think all these songs are like 2 minutes long. I'm sure we'll listen to like these live versions. Oh my god, it's from the same. It's from the same performance. Here's the next one. Put the message just so make sure it shows up in the future chat. Hitting 0. All right. We'll count down from 3, and countdown from 3, and on go we'll hit play. Okay, 3, 2, 1, or right, restart. Restart. 3, 2, 1, go. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. And while I'm away, alright on. Oh my god, he's sweaty. All my loving to you. I'll pretend that I'm kissing. I've always found it very impressive how they like do this, because if you see like the original footage, it's like all black and white and like heinous quality. Day, and I'll send all my loving to you. And I'll be true. Boom, boom. Doom, 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 boom, boom. Something you always see in their live performances is that they, even if there was like 3 microphones on stage, they'll still sing on the same microphone. I don't know if there's any like advantage to that, but like if they're doing harmonies, they'll like sing on the same one, which is always just funny to see. My loving to you. I guess it's that pizzazz. All my loving send to you. Boom boom. My dum 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 ba ba ba. Is he gonna do it? All my loving. Oh. Yeah, he did. Ooh, all my loving. It's a good song, a good ass song. Ooh, yeah. Fucking goes hard. Goes too damn hard, honestly. All right. Oh, what the fuck? Why does it look like that? I just noticed on screen it's like doubled. I mean, it's whatever. I don't. It's fine. It just looks a little funny. Yeah, such a good song, and it's definitely my favorite on this album. And the good bass has a good bass. Paul McCartney. I think I'll put this one above. No. I was thrown off by that, but I was just thinking of All My Loving, but no. I'm gonna say it's the same as I feel the same about these 2 albums. Like, definitely less. I feel I like more songs, or I feel like I like about the same songs from each album, from both of these albums. But the catchiness of With the Beatles, I feel like, is a little better. Like they have like Roll Over Beethoven and like All My Loving, which are very like singable songs. Until There Was You as well. So I feel like they're about the same in my brain, but I do like With the Beatles maybe a little more, even though it's like a little less. I don't know. It's a little less like coherent as an album, I guess. Whereas like Please Please Me felt a little more like each song felt like they were in the same like idea of each other song, right? Regardless. Anyways, we'll go to the next one. It was Hard Day's Night, which it has a movie, but I don't know if like the album was made because of the movie or the movie was made because of the album. Well, it wasn't made because I think the like it was all planned out. I think they're made. I guess they were made together. I don't really know, but it was their first like the Beatles movie. At this point, they were very popular. They were already very popular when they made Please Please Me, but at this point, they are like they've almost peaked. They've almost peaked at their popularity. And this album is where like I feel like their music went like crazy. Like they wrote a lot better and more, I feel like, and the music is just way better, way better. Tell me why. Yeah, so many good. I should have known better with a girl like you. Get by me happy just yeah, so many like good songs on this. Hard Day's Night, very recognizable. Sleeping Like a Dog and all that. And I love her. And I'll Cry Instead. very good. Less songs, but like I think the quality of the music is way better on this album. And just a lot of good stuff. So particularly on this album, I'm a little torn between Can't Buy Me Love and I'm Happy Just to Dance With You. I like A Hard Day's Night is good, but it's a little too like I was gonna say it feels a little too Beatles. It feels a little too much like it's a Beatles song. I guess it's because it's too iconic. I guess maybe that's I'm a little contrarian. I guess, but like I feel like Can't Buy Me Love is definitely more popular than Hard Day's Night. I don't know. I feel like I've heard Can't Buy Me Love more than Hard Day's Night just in the wild. Which is the thing about Beatles songs in general is like you will definitely hear them once or twice or 10 times or a billion times in like everywhere, just everywhere. Shopping malls, TV, movies, whatever. You know, it's like it's hard to escape the Beatles. I've definitely, like, you know, maybe a while back ago. Nowadays, maybe it's not too hard. Like they're still popular, but it feels like I could definitely find people who don't give a shit and have no clue as well. I feel like I could definitely find people who are just like, Beatles who? Which is fine. I mean, it's, yeah. But it's fine if you don't know who the Beatles are. But I feel a little more loyal to the song Happy Just to Dance With You because it was one of the first songs I learned on guitar. It was one of the first songs I ever learned on guitar, and it was very it was fun. It was a fun song to learn on guitar. And I remember I would sit in like the dining room of my house, and I didn't have like a good amp at this time, but I had a guitar. I would just sit in the dining room with my guitar, and then I would plug these like really old like computer speakers from like the 90s or like 80s. I don't even know. Maybe like 90s. These old like computer speakers from the 90s into like my phone or something. Or I don't even know, like a laptop. I don't even know. But I'd plug it into something, and I would just play along to it over and over and over and over again, because I wasn't like that good anyways. But let me see. I'm trying to find a good song. I'm seeing a lot of the Fab Four. I'll talk about them later, but talk about it later. But is that why is it? That's not really like it. No, that sounds like shit. Okay, we'll just listen to the normal one. It's only a minute, 2 minutes. All right. I don't know if I copied the right one. Next one. It's Happy Just to Dance With You. So I'm gonna hit 0. And 3, 2, 1, and on go we hit play. 3, 2, 1. Well, oh, wait. I'll give it a little more time. Anyone who's watching this in the future. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Boom, boom, boom. With all this dances, so I think I love you too. The guitar is very fun. It's a very fun guitar riff, or just part, or whatever. Very crunchy on that. It's very distinct, like Rickenbacker sound of like the Rickenbacker sound of John Lennon's 250, 225, or whatever, 225, or whatever. It's like short scale as well. It's like only like 20 frets or something, or I don't know, maybe that's like what they sell now, but it's a short scale one, Rickenbacker, but it's very, very like recognizable in like the music they made during this time. Everybody trying to take my place. This was there's nothing else I have to do. And definitely, I think George's songs on this one are a lot better. I think there's this and is this the only Georgia song on this album? I don't know, but it's good. One of the early George songs, it's good. I don't know if he wrote it. There's a big chance that he didn't, but I'm just happy just to dance with you. Turn around there. Oh, oh, oh. Very good. Very, very good. And it's definitely my favorite on this album. So I think I would definitely put this above what they had now. I think I'll put it in C. I could put it in C. I wouldn't mind putting it in C. Yeah, I feel comfortable with it there because the music is just, you know, a level above what they made previously. And I think it's just delightful. So, well, okay, before we go on to the next one, a little side tangent here. The Fab Four, or any Beatles tribute band, for that matter. Now, I understand why. I understand why people do this, mostly old men, but it's very cringe from my perspective. I don't know, anything that like, I think it's because like Beatles is very like normie to anyone who isn't like a Zoomer. Anyone who isn't a Zoomer, I guess some Zoomers probably understand, but like anyone who's like born before like the 2000s know the Beatles and grew up with like a culture of just like, I don't know, Beatles, you know, post Beatlemania, and it's very normie, and things just obviously very cringe things will come out from Beatles and such. And I think Fab Four was one of the things, and you know, it's okay, they can go and do that, but I think it's just a little cringe that they dance, I don't know, it's dress up and then they do like the accents, and it's just weird. Like, if you're just gonna go and cover like a band, like if you're gonna do like be a cover band for a certain band, then I understand if you dress up a little bit or whatever, especially if it's like the Beatles, who had a very like have iconic style, I guess. And it's fine, you know, it's whatever. But like it's like they're role playing. That's when it, and I think it's just kind of cringe. It's kind of cringe when you're role playing too hard, as particularly as someone as people as iconic as the Beatles, and who were probably 10 times cooler than you would ever be, right? They're probably like, you know, the most, there's a reason why they were popular. It wasn't just because they made good music. They were like charming in the eye of the public, right? People like saw them as like there was four little guys who say funny shit on the TV, right? And that's probably how the world saw them at that time. But it's like, you look so uncool and awkward trying to imitate them. Like I think that's what's cringe about it. The most cringe about it is that they're like doing the same thing and, you know, shaking their head or whatever. But like, it's like, that's, you know, even like in the Get Back film, or even just later in their lives, they like knew how like sort of like cringe that is, right? but they did it for a reason, because they, shake their head or move a certain way because they knew it would get a rile out of the crowd or whatever. And then, it'd be shown on TV or something, and then they get more fans and money, whatever. And it was good for the brand, the image. But, seeing some 40-year-old guy do that is not like, it's as cringe as seeing like a 40-year-old guy like doing the gritty. Like that's what it kind of seems like. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the Fab Four or anything that tries to like parody or imitate, like fully imitate and parody, or not parody, but like parody's fine. Parody's better than trying to do full on imitation. Like Nowhere Man, like I haven't seen that movie, but the clips I have seen, they're not trying to like fully imitate their accents and the way they acted fully. Like I mean they are like to a certain extent, but it's not like cringe, right? It's because the actors can only do so much, because since like, particularly John and Paul are very recognizable people, and there's a lot of video and whatever of them talking and saying shit and being them, is that their personalities are recognizable by a mass audience. And so it's like, if you impersonate them badly, particularly their voices, people are like, "Ooh, Paul and George," like that's a very hard parody right there. But like people, like there's been movies seriously made with those voices, and it's just like, yeah, it's cringe. It makes it 100% cringe. But like Nowhere Man does it well because they're not trying too hard. Obviously they're trying to act like them, but they're not trying to like be them, I guess. I don't know. That's why like Fab Four is kind of like, I know Fab Four is a little parody, but it feels like, I don't know. It's just, if they looked like, honestly, if they like looked more like Paul and George and Ringo, whatever, I'd say fuck it. If they do cringe shit, it's worth it, because it's at least they look like them, but they don't look like them, and the hair looks weird, and they're wearing wigs, and it's gross. Anyways, on to the next album. Beatles for Sale. I don't know how I feel about this album, because it's very like, it feels like a middle of the road album for Beatles, because it's like before, they're not at their peak yet, but they're definitely gaining traction in their careers or whatever. And the music is definitely improving slowly but surely, but they're still doing like covers, right? Like Kansas City, like that's a cover. It's a very good cover, and rock and roll music as well. Or no, rock and roll music is not. Is it? I'm pretty sure rock and roll music wasn't written by John Lennon, but it might have. Chuck Berry, yeah, okay. Regardless, so they're still doing like covers, right? They're still not making enough music to like fill an album out by themselves. Understandably, they're touring a lot during this time, for sure. Basically living together, right? I think Paul talks about in the Get Back documentary, because I just watched it. He's like, we used to just live together, so that's why they would write so much together. They were writing a lot, for sure, but a lot of that stuff never got put out, and I don't know if it ever made it to the light of day. But they're still like covered and stuff, but their music is definitely improving. Some of these like definitely this is an album where I think there's only one song that's like the most popular, and it's 8 Days a Week, for sure. It's a very recognizable song. and I think it was their single for a while, or before it was a single before, or maybe it was a single somewhere else. I don't know, but it's definitely like the main song on this album that everyone knows. But there are definitely good songs on this album, like Rock and Roll Music in Kansas City and Mr. Moonlight. I think is kind of Mr. Moonlight's okay, and then like No Reply and I'll Follow the Sun is also, I think, a very shining song on this album, where it feels, I don't know, like it's a short song, it's a short little song, but it's very like, I don't know, it's a very nice somber sort of melancholy hopeful song. And I think oh, okay, back when I started listening to the Beatles, I might have said 8 days a week. But now that my music taste has refined over the years, I think my favorite song on this album is I'll Follow the Sun. So we'll listen to that right now. Tomorrow may rain, so mama. They never performed it ever live, I think, or if they did, it was in like a studio. Yeah, live at BBC. Yeah, and he's played it live all the time, but definitely I don't think he's ever played it live like yesterday or anything. It's a very nice, sweet, somber song here. All right, I'm just gonna chat. And I will pin it, bam, pinned. Countdown from 3, and on go, we hit play. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. One day you look. The rainbow, I'll follow the sun. This is a song that doesn't have bass. It's just guitar. And the guitar is playing like, I guess, the bass, but it's not, there's no bass, so it's very open on the low end, so it feels very like, it's an open song, it feels like, but it serves to fit because it's just like the guitar is very bright, right? And it's the same thing for Two of Us, where it feels more open, but like it seems to serve the song more than take away. So I'll follow the sun. It's very short too. Rain, so I'll follow the sun. Time has come, I must go. No, I knew a friend. And this is, I think, in the Beatles were, like I said, this is a very bridging album, like an in-between album, where their music starts to become a little more complex, and particularly the lyrics, I feel, where they stop taking the, very straight approaches of common like rock and roll lyric type things, I love you, this is why, or something like that. It's more like, it feels more complex to me. I don't know, that might just be me, but it does. It feels a lot more complex to me. So that's why I call it like a bridging song, a bridging album. That's why I call it like that. So now that we have this here, I feel like I want to change some stuff here. I think I will bump this album up and this one here, because definitely Hard Day's Night has a lot more songs that are just better, I think. Like a lot more substance in the songs, or songs that just feel, I don't know. I think it's just the songs are better. That's what I'm trying to say. But Beatles for Sales, I think it's better than these two. It's definitely, I think most of the Beatles albums will probably be better than the first stuff they made. But I still like them though. That's the key part. All right, so the next album, bam, Help. Now this is like the peak Beatles album. The peak Beatles album. This is where they're you know, I think they already went on the Ed Sullivan whatever, you know, first Beatles appearance in American television. And they are like crashing through the world, and particularly America. And so they are like just touring every day, but they are writing their best music, I feel, at this point in time. No, there's a lot of good songs on this album. Dizzy Miss Lizzy, Yesterday, Ticket to Ride, Tell Me What You See, Help, Act Naturally, You're Gonna Lose That Girl, and also the second Beatles movie. It's in color now, and has a higher budget, I guess, because they're, at this point, they're rich and they don't have to worry about money ever again in their entire lives. There's a lot of good songs on this album, and it's really hard to tell you what is my favorite, because I don't even know what would be I guess the most popular one on this album is probably Yesterday, just because I think I don't know where I heard this, but it's like the most covered song ever, and it's a good song, but I think I know why. It's because it's a very, very easy song to learn on guitar. I learned it in a day, and that was back when I was not even good. I was not, or well, I might not be good now, but I was definitely worse than I am now. And it's a very easy song to learn, and you know, it's not really an easy song to sing. At least I don't know, by my standards, I can't sing it that well. But it's, yeah, I think that's why it's so covered. That's why it's so popular as well. And it's a very nice song. It's very sad, I guess. It's kind of sad. Kind of a sad song. Sad boy hour song. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. And another like Paul McCartney, like sad boy hour, you know, acoustic song. You know, he had like, And I Love Her, and like Till There Was You. So, you know, those are like very like Paul McCartney acoustic sounding stuff, or acoustic songs. And then you got Help, which I think is like considered like the first like John Lennon song that's like very like emotion based, right? Considered like one of his best songs ever that you wrote. And it, not because, I mean, probably a little bit because he was in the Beatles, but just like, I think a lot of people see it as like his first like removed from like the common rock and roll themes of, you know, love and whatnot. You know, even Money, you know, had that theme of like, your love isn't enough, I need more money, right? But this is one where it's like, I need help because I'm struggling mentally. Like it goes from like, this is the first like John Lennon song, which, or maybe even the Beatles song for sure, where it explores more like they went away from love and they went to more like emotional, like awareness song. And it's a very good song and very popular, almost as popular as Yesterday, probably as popular as Yesterday. So for me though, it definitely comes, and some. Well, before I end this, there are some good songs on this album that I think kind of like underrated. Like You're Gonna Lose That Girl. I think Dizzy Miss Lizzy is very like rock and roll, like very rock and roll. And I know John Lennon, I think he plays it at that Vancouver show I talked about. It's very like, very rock and roll type song, and I like it. The rest of the songs are kind of like, yeah, I don't know, but definitely, the songs that are like my favorite are You're Gonna Lose That Girl, Ticket to Ride, Yesterday, and Help, and Dizzy Miss Lizzy. So like that's like it's a lot bigger than the previous albums where I'm like, this is hard for me to like decide what my favorite song is on this album. Oh my god, it's like the contrarian side of me wants to say like Dizzy Miss Lizzy, but I don't think it is. It's a good song, but it's not that good. And then like my inner Paul McCartney lover is like Yesterday. It's like Yesterday's a very good song. Yesterday's a very, very good song. Let me turn this up a little bit. I think though, and it's a very dangerous thing for me to think, I think my favorite song on this album is gonna be it's gonna be Help. It's just gonna have to be Help because it's such a singable song, and I think it's like the seed, like that plants that paves the way for the rest of like their very personal like mental songs. I don't know, like more personal songs. We'll watch this one. I mean, personal songs that they wrote about themselves. It like paved the way for that. I think it's a very important song, and it's also a good song. So that's why I'm picking it. So here we go. We'll listen to it right now. Throw it in chat. I will pin it, and then we will listen. Countdown from 3. And then go. We play. I just hit 0. 3, 2, 1, go. I was young, so much younger than today. Open anyway. In all these videos, if they don't have like a drum kit or some, I don't know, they're just too lazy to set up a drum kit. They just have Ringo like just doing nothing, just sitting there looking pretty. Very goofy. Won't you please help me? Life is just so many ways. My independence seems to vanish in the haze. And I do appreciate you feeling around. It's weird seeing like John Lennon normal. You know, he changed the most out of like everyone. He looks like from now to like 19, I don't know, 70. He looks very weird. No, gone. I got the fake like snow. Feedback on the ground. Won't you please, please help me, help me, help me. You can tell those things were just made in one take. They were just like, all right, here we go. And they made it, and they're like, all right, there you go. What were those like played on like those like, you know what, before MTV was MTV, you know, those kinds of things. Like, here's the Beatles' new song, Help, and then they showed the little song of them. I bet you people ate that shit up though, for sure. I have to think, right? Like, why were the Beatles so damn popular? And I feel it's because like it wasn't easy to consume Beatles. Like Beatles, but Beatles. Like if you saw like, you know, they were like, you know, they were funny, right? And if you saw them on TV, you're like, whoa, holy shit, they're funny. And then you listen to their music, I'm like, yeah, you know. And then it's like, man, the only other way you could either see them was to like catch them on TV, which wasn't guaranteed, or listen to their music, or like buy a picture or a book about them or something. So it probably helped in perpetuating like that, like the mania, the Beatlemania. It's like anything they did was just like the best. Yeah. So Help is probably my most favorite song on this album. Yeah. And I think it's one of their better ones. I think I would rank it the same as Hard Day's Night though. I feel like it's like gives me the same vibes. Same vibes as Hard Day's Night. There's a lot of songs on it where I like. There's plenty of songs that I feel like are sit in the same boat, but it's definitely a little better than Hard Day's Night. The music's just a little better. And Help and Yesterday particularly are like top tier Beatles songs. You know, it's in every Beatle compilation you'll ever find in the world. Like, right, you'll definitely have Help and like Yesterday in those whatever. So definitely some of the best Beatles music made on that album. Okay, so now we have an important album. This is a crazy important album for the Beatles, right? Like, this is when their sound starts changing quite a lot in this one. The feel of this album is definitely a lot like different. This is like a really, the feel of this album is insane. Like it going from Help to this album, it's very interesting. And definitely like the music starts becoming more complicated. The harmonies become a little more complicated as well. And I think this was after or the year or whatever. I think they went to Rishikesh, to India, and did their little spiritual thing. I think this was around that time. And they were doing they were starting to do drugs. They were definitely starting to do a bit of drugs. yeah, so some of these, a lot of these songs are less about love and a lot more about like, I don't know, like Girl is like about like lust, right? Where it's like he's like, what does he say? You love a girl so much it hurts or something like like sort of about lust, and it's like I don't know, a lot like, you know, it has girl in the name, but it's like it's a little more than just like, oh, I love her, right? And then I mean, it's not like they don't have that in this. I think like Drive My Car, you know, it's a liked song. But In My Life is another one of those like Lennon songs where people liked it because it was like more I don't know, more like an insight in his mind, right? Where he talks about his life and like the places he's been, and like the way he reflects on that stuff, and you know, and people liked it because it was you know, more about him and what he thinks, and that's a lot of this album, right? Where, you know, think for yourself and the word, and you know, stuff like that. And it's also about you know, like even some of the love songs on it, like I'm Looking Through You, you don't look different, but you know, it's like about thinking like you just like but you have changed, I'm looking through you, you're not the same. Yeah, like it's like about like slowly figuring out like a person changes over the years, and that's how that's my perception of it, I guess. And this album it feels like one of their most coherent albums for sure, where every song feels like it fits the other song, and the sound is very cohesive, I guess. And it's very hard to think what my favorite song is, and it's definitely not In My Life. It could easily be In My Life, but it's one of those songs where I've just heard it so many times that it's kind of lost its meaning and purpose in my like ears, right? And I hear it, I'm like, man, I've heard this so many times, I don't want to hear it again, you know. So it being popular has ruined it for me. So it's very hard to decide what my favorite song on this album is. I think though, ma belle sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble, you know, it's a little, that song is a little corny, Michelle. You know, these are words that go together well, my Michelle. Yeah. It's good. The guitar on that song is very good. I like it. Oh. Drive My Car is a very singable song, but it's definitely not my favorite. Norwegian Wood, it's also a very catchy song. I feel like it's between like Girl, Michelle. Run for Your Life is funny. It's like he's gonna kill her if he sees her with another man. Hide your head in the sand, little girl. Catch you with another man, little girl. It's like he'll literally murder her if he finds her with another man. If she cheats. This lift only goes up, or something. This lift only goes down. But I think my favorite song on this album is probably Michelle. I think it is. It's just a good song. You know, even though he says some shit, it's like Michelle, ma belle, sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble, très bien ensemble. Which I think is just gibberish, just common Beatles stuff. The fuck is this? This is on the official Beatles channel. It's just like images of the Beatles going in and out. I'd rather just look at nothing than fucking that shit. And it's only a minute. It's not the full song either. Yeah, we'll listen to it now. Like always. Just in case someone skips around or whatever. Countdown from 3. And oops, I didn't mean to do that. We will count down from 3. And on go, you hit play. Hit 0. 3, 2, 1, go. I'll turn down the BGM a little bit. You shall, my bell, songs are words that go together well. Doom doom ba doom cha doom cha doom cha da doom cha doom cha doom cha doom cha doom 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 cha doom cha doom cha doom cha doom doom. Love you, I love you, I love you. Until I find a way. It's just a good song. It's just a good song, and the guitar, that like descending thing. Ma belle, sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble, très bien ensemble. Need to, I need to, I need to. What you mean to me. One thing about Paul McCartney as well that I want to express is that his voice is so dynamic. It's actually crazy. And he does some crazy shit with his voice as well. Like it's not like he's singing, I don't know how he does it. He can go from singing Helter Skelter to this, right? Like it's like, how the fuck? Choo. Or even more like crazy, like this from like yesterday or something. Like it's like crazy. You understand me? My belle, sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble, très bien ensemble. You say the only words I know that you'll understand. I'm Michelle. Boom, the boom, 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 boom. Doom, doo, 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 doo. Such a good song. And it's not the only good song on that damn album. So I think I would definitely, this is like, oh, I forgot to have an extra like thing here. I can only put one in Real Trap Shit. I can only put one album in Real Trap Shit. That's like what the thumbnail alludes to, is I can only put one into Real Trap Shit. And this is almost Real Trap Shit for me, I'll be honest. But is one down, because there's definitely one I like better. And we'll talk about it when I get to it. But it is very good. It's one of their best. I feel like it's one of their best for sure. Because it's a change of sound that's not too crazy, but it's very good. And it doesn't stray too much from what they did, like what they have been doing. But it's enough that it brings out their playing and their, the lyrics and what they can write and the sort of things that they could do, right? Other than just common like rock themes, right? Like Drive My Car or whatever. They can do stuff like Michelle or Norwegian Wood. And that was the next one. which we will get to soon because I need to go throw a mean piss. So we'll be right back. And we'll talk about this album. This is a crazy album. All right, I'll be right back. Hello? Okay, yeah. I got more coffee. Yummy. Okay. All right. So we were on. Here. Okay. We just got finished talking about Rubber Soul. Very crazy album. Started doing a bit of drugs. And if they were doing a bit of drugs on Rubber Soul, they were doing a lot of drugs for Revolver. Okay, maybe not a lot of drugs. Not yet. But how the fuck did... Am I tripping nuts? I was gonna reorganize for a moment. I don't see it anywhere. It's gone. We'll have to make it when we... Regardless. Revolver is one of the best. One of their best albums. For sure. And they totally embrace like that, the psychedelia, the psychedelic stuff in this album. Let me get the track list so I can like remember. Taxman, my throat. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping, Love You Too, Here, There, and Everywhere, and then Yellow Submarine, which would later become like their movie. She Said, Good Day Sunshine, Your Bird Can Sing, which has a crazy good like guitar part in the beginning. For No One, Dr. Robert, Want to Tell You, Got to Get You Into My Life, and Tomorrow Never Knows, which is one of those songs that everyone will like reference as like, this is the turning point of the Beatles. This is how they referenced in 1966 where they're going, or 1965 or whatever. Let's see if we can see real quick when it was released. 66. Okay, that's right. This is the last album they put out. I think during the touring times. I think in June they stopped, or something like that. You know, and if you don't know the story, they've been touring since before they even were the Beatles, or yeah, before they were the Beatles. They were the Quarrymen, and they were going all over like Europe and Germany, particularly Germany and Hamburg. And they were, you know, touring they were playing 8 hours a day. It was crazy. And then they're Beatles, and they're doing the same shit. Just, you know, they're traveling to the US and the UK and to Europe and to wherever else wants to hear them. In Japan, yeah. And you know, they're doing that every day, you know, and you know, it stops being like their fans. Like, I think the consensus was that the screaming and the wailing and just, you know, the sort of objects they're being treated as by like not only you know, their own fans, and some controversy as well, I'll talk about in a second, but like just like the tiring of it all, and like the sort of losing themselves from the music, and not being able to like hear themselves when they go live and play. And particularly that show in Japan, I think there's some documentary where like Paul or someone says that they like they didn't enjoy playing there because they played bad. And I mean, they didn't play that bad, but definitely I can understand why he said that. It's not as like you couldn't hear them as well sometimes when they were singing, and when they were playing it was just a little off. But you know, so they stopped touring after this album, or I think maybe even before this album was put out. So like none of these songs were ever played, I think. That's a very like like I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not even sure. So you know, regardless, then this time they're like, fuck it. they're just making whatever the fuck, because I think even they knew before they probably had these songs way before, you know, whatever. They just want to make just music that they want to at this point. So a lot of stuff like Yellow Submarine, that's not a fucking rock song that they're gonna be performing at, you know, the Hollywood Bowl, obviously. Or Good Day Sunshine, maybe. So like, it's obvious they're taking a different approach to how they're writing and making music at this time, and you know, a bit of drugs never hurt anybody, right? So they're making some new shit. And I don't know which one I like the best, because there's so many good ones. Here, There, and Everywhere is like Paul McCartney, like, you know, slow, just here, there, making me, just pure Paul McCartney, like slow song bliss, if that's your thing, and that's my thing. And Your Bird Can Sing is just, I love the guitar because it's like they double it up, and it's a very nice like, it's a good song. I like it. You know, I'll have to say Tomorrow Never Knows is probably the worst song on this album, even though it's like it's their most psychedelic song, one of their most psychedelic songs. And you know, relax yourself, float on stream, this is not my. But you know, it's one of those songs, but I'm not like into it. It's not a good song, I'll say that much. It's very interesting, it's very, you know, experimental and avant-garde, but it's not my kind of thing. I think the songs that are like the most hard to decide over is And Your Bird Can Sing, Here, There, and Everywhere, and Eleanor Rigby. But it's like, I think the most popular song off this album is definitely Eleanor Rigby, because it's such an interesting song. You know, I'm Only Sleeping is also a good one. When I wake up early in the morning, lift my head, I'm still yawning. When I'm in dreams, it's been bad. There's that one game that's called I'm Only Sleeping, right? Is it like, I mean, it has to. What even is that game? Oh, I don't know, never mind. I don't know. Regardless. I think the song that I like the most on this album, consistently, and I can listen to probably anytime, man, it's so it's so hard on this album, And it's just gonna get harder as we go up because each album gets better and better and better from this point onward, I think. And extraordinarily so. I gotta pick. Here, There, and Everywhere. You know, Eleanor Rigby's good, but it's one of those, like I said, it's one of those songs I've heard a lot of times, but it's not so, like, it's like, I've heard it a lot of times, but it's not like it's ruined for me. It's just that I can't, how do I say this? It doesn't have the same punch as from the first time I ever heard it. And I think, yeah, that's how I feel about it. All right, we'll listen to it. Let me turn down the music a bit. And let me grab you around. We'll listen to it right now. Right now. There. Okay. On go, we will play the song. Hit 0. 3, 2, 1, go. A better life to be here. Yeah. I'm making each day of the year. Yeah, like, musically, it's not as good as Eleanor Rigby, but I think it's just my favorite on the album. It's very, I don't know, as they might put it, it's like a downer song, and I kind of like that. Here, I my hands through her hair. Looking how good it can be. The man is speaking, but she doesn't know he's there. I want her everywhere, and if she's beside me, I know I need never care. Is to need her. Boom, boom, boom. It's a very simple beat. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, well, not as simple as Paul McCartney's ever written like bass lines, but it's like a doom, doom, doom. Very simple song generally. But they spent more time in the studio with this album for sure. Did they ever perform Taxman? Rising up and I'm always there. And everywhere. Yeah. And everywhere. Ah, such a good song though. Did they? Hold on. Part of me is like, no. Oh, maybe. Circus. Rock and roll music. I feel fine. Nowhere Mountain. I'm done. Yeah, no. Last live. Yes. Well, that's the Rooftop, but like 1966. Candlestick Park, yeah. Paul talks about being in the metal band and he's like crying about it. Day Tripper, Babies in Black. Yeah, no new songs. 'Cause all those songs are probably not. August? Yeah, they stopped in August. Okay. That's when Revolver was. Before Revolver. Or after. After. Yeah, after. Recorded. Wait. Oh no, it was released August 5th. Okay. I'm like doing my own research right here. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Okay, so like they could have if they really wanted to, but the music there was just too complex. They couldn't play it live. Did I post the thing? Yeah, I did. Okay, well, we have to rate this one. This one's hard to rate, but I don't think it's as good as Rubber Soul. You know, it's one of my favorites, but I don't think it's as good as Rubber Soul. I think Rubber Soul sticks out because it's not like, this is very psychedelic and I like that and all, but it's not like the kind of psychedelic that they do later on that's good. So I'm just gonna have to put this right here. Right here. Yep. I know people won't like that, but that's okay. It's okay because it's just my pure taste. Ugh. Now I'll definitely say we're getting to my favorite Beatles era. I might have not said that a couple years ago, but this definitely now I'm like full on like after Sgt. Pepper Afterwards is like my favorite stuff they've ever made in their careers. So where the fuck is let me just like make a mental note. Okay. This one. I have a lot of feelings about this album. Often referred to as like the most influential album maybe of all time, or at least one of them. Changed a lot of stuff, and like, you know, and it was a big change from their own like sound, I guess, like what people might have expected from the Beatles, right? If Revolver was already like sort of like a what the heck, but then like, you know, this came out and they're like, what the fuck? And you have to think, right, they go from touring and then they stop touring and then they just, nobody hears from them for like a year or like 6 months or however long it took them to record this album. We can see it. We were researching just now. It came out in 67. Oh my goodness. So like, and not even just, it's November 67. So they, all right, no, never mind. June 67. Almost a year from when they stopped touring. And since Revolver came out. Right? So it was probably like weird. It was probably like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? I would have been like, what the fuck is this? Who in their right mind? Who let them do this? Who let them? But it was good. You know, it turned out well for them. It turned out fine for them. You know, it was whatever. But like I said, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this album because it feels like another bridging album to me. I know a lot of people don't see it that way. Some people see it as like the peak of their music or something, but it's, you know, as John Lennon would say, it's music to my ear, you know, like a lot of it, there's good songs on this album. There's a lot of good songs, you know, and particularly the psychedelia, I feel like they've nailed on the head, or at least John Lennon has. With Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, it feels like a dream song, and I like it. That's a good thing. It feels like a song in a dream, right? Like a song I'd have in a dream, and the imagery is very That's something John Lennon's very good at, is like lyrical imagery. He's good at doing that. And it shines with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and another song that it shines in is Across the Universe. Obviously, you know, aided with drugs or whatever, but you know, he's good at writing it down at least. There's a lot of good songs in this. Fixing a Hole. I used to like She's Leaving Home, but like it sometimes listen to it, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like meh. Benefit Mr. Kite is pretty good too. I do not like With and Without You. It's in the George Harrison song. When I'm 64, I like it because it's very like doom, doom. It's like a very like, it's a goofy song and I like it. I also like Lovely Rita. Lovely Rita, me too, mate. The cadence of the song is what I like really about it. It's like, Lovely Rita, me too, mate. It's like going up, it feels, or it gets hard. And then I hate Good Morning. I'm just gonna say I do not like Good Morning. It's just good morning, good morning. I don't know, good morning. I mean, it's catchy, but I don't really like it. And then Day in a Life. That's the best. I'm just gonna say it's the best song on that album. I already know my favorite song on this album. It's Day in a Life for sure. Because it's easy to say, you know, I mean, it's obvious, right? But out of everything on this album, Day in a Life shines in the ways that it feels like they figured it out. Like, that's what it feels like. It's a song that it feels like they figured it out. I'm gonna play it since now, and I'll talk about it while it plays, since it's such a damn long song. But it is definitely a song that feels like they were like, oh, so this is kind of what we want to do. That's what it's like. And they put time and effort to it, right? They had a whole orchestra and they made it a big old thing. Yeah, so let me see. I count down from 3 and on go. You hit play. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my god, it's loud. You probably hear that. Boom, 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 boom. It starts very simple for sure. But it's, you know, the song is very influential, it seems. For like artists of the time. I think this is what is the most influential song out of the whole album, I feel. Because it's like, I don't know, it changed. I think it changed the way people saw the Beatles in every way, and then what could be good, you know, and what they could do as well. And I know I think at the time, you know, I'm trying to think, like, back then, like you know, only like 2 years ago, where the Beatles were singing, like, you know, singing Love Me Do. And then you kind of sitting here singing about seeing a film today, oh boy. About English Army had just won the war. It's very like, I don't know, not rock. It's like we've gone away from rock, and this is like just like, I don't know, what even is this, like experimental? Like, I have no clue. Psychedelia. Yeah, and if you were someone from back then, it's like, what the hell? And a lot of people liked it because it's like that was what was going on. I think that's like the biggest thing about the Beatles, is that their music reflects the like the time very well. Oddly well as well. And that's what a lot of people talk about during this time in the Beatles, is that this is just what was going on, right? Swirl. Hear that swirl, the swirl of the time of the orchestra. Woke up out of bed and the come across my head. Boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. Looking up, I noticed I was late. Grabbed my hat, made the bus seconds flat. Somebody went in dream. Yeah, it's just the best song out of this album. I don't know. But it's a good album. I definitely say it's a good album. But over the years, I've definitely like I don't know. It's like you hear them for the first time and you're like, okay. And you hear the second time, all right. And then, but like over time, I've listened to like the Beatles albums hundreds of times. Maybe not hundreds of times. Maybe close to hundreds of times, but a lot. I've listened to each album a lot, and this one, I feel myself like it's a long album, but I only really like, or I'll only go back to listen to like Lovely Rita, 64, and like Day in the Life, right? And everything else I feel like I want to skip, right? And maybe Losing the Sky of Diamonds when I'm feeling it, but like other than that, everything on this album feels skippable. Boom. Man, I wish that this song had like the Get Back treatment. Oh my goodness. Man, it'd be insane to see this song be made, right? Like, it was already insane to see the entire Let It Be album get made, but it was like, it'd be crazy to see this era of Beatles like magic. Oh, regardless. Yeah, it's a very good song. Fucking video on this. Very goofy as well. I love to turn. What's the music about? Yep. Yeah. It's just not my favorite Beatles album. I'm not gonna put it in not my favorite because I think it's still above like Beatles for Sale and whatnot. But I kind of want to put it here. I kind of want to put it in a B because, and honestly, I'd put it like behind Room. No. It's just B. I won't even like rank the B section or anything, but I feel like it's good, but it does, the songs on it are just not like my favorite, you know? And I don't see myself going back to this album much. Maybe it's because I hear the songs a lot or heard a million covers or whatever, but it is just not my favorite album. And that's how I feel about it. All right, so we'll move on to their next thing, which is Magical Mystery Tour. An interesting album. I didn't like this album at first when I listened to it. I was kind of like, what the fuck? But I think over time, I've started to like this album a lot. Particularly some of the instrumental stuff, like Blue Jay Way. And like Flying is an interesting song as well. And Fool on the Hill is, oh my god. I love, like, this is like, that's a song I wish I could sing like Paul McCartney because he sings it so good. Ugh. You know, and it has like I Am the Walrus, Hello Goodbye, Strawberry Fields, Penny Lane, you know, very like, this album is loaded with like Beatles classics. I think this is one of the albums where like just a lot, if you like most like Beatles compilation albums will have like almost all these songs on it, right? Like All You Need Is Love and Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields and Hello Goodbye and maybe Full in the Hill, but almost certainly I Am the Walrus. Like it's just like a lot of Beatles classics. And you know, it's a sin that I haven't even watched Magical Mystery Tour. You know, it was like that was the whole purpose, right? It's like a movie thing. And I never watched it. Ugh. Yeah. It's a good album. It's a very good album. One of my favorites for sure. And I think this is also another album where I think I know like what my favorite song of this album is. It's definitely between either All You Need Is Love, Strawberry Fields, or Full on the Hill. And between those three, I'm like 99.9% it's the Full on the Hill. And I've learned that piano, and it's just like so good. It's just such a good piano. It's just such a good song. Here we'll play the full one. Alright, let me see here. Boop, grabbing the song. And we can talk about it while I do that. There's a song. Let me turn down. Oh, let me turn down the music a little bit. Okay. Ready? Count down from 3, and on go. You press play. 3, 2, 1, play. Well, I said play instead of go, but you know, you get the idea. Alone on a hill, the man with the foolish grin is keeping perfectly still. I don't know. There's something about this song. It feels very whimsical. And then this is like the video of like Paul McCartney frolicking and being all whimsical and shit. I like it a lot. And I've only listened to this album and I've been feeling it, you know, and it's just a good album. Hello Goodbye is also one of those songs that I heard before I even knew what the Beatles were. I say yes, you say no. You say why, and I say go, go, go. Fool on the hill, sun going down. The songs progressively get longer. Like, if you noticed, they go from like 2 minutes to 2.5 to 3, and then like stuff like the White Album, it's like 4, right? Wants to do, but the fool on the hill. The piano on this is very fun to play as well. It's like this part particularly. Boom, 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 boom. Like you hit the like bass notes, and you just go rock back and forth between 2 notes here, or 3 notes, but 2. You're playing 2 and then 1. But listens to them, he knows that they're the fool. They don't like him, the fool on the hill. Such a good one. And I didn't like this song is also quite covered. More than I originally would have thought. Didn't like Vera Lynn cover this? Uh, yeah, she did. Yeah. We'll meet again. Don't know how, don't know when. We'll meet again some sunny day. Yeah, it's a very good song. And I think I would rank this album above Sgt. Pepper. It goes in the A tier because it has all the good songs. Like I said, it's like the most recognizable. Every song in this album is very recognizable, other than maybe like Blue Jay Way, Flying, and maybe a Rich Man. But like, those songs are still pretty popular. So but I do think it's better than Sgt. Pepper's, just because I don't know, the songs feel better. They feel more singable and enjoyable to me. I mean, a lot of Sgt. Pepper songs are very singable and whatnot, but like, I don't know, they're just very good. I feel better listening to them, I suppose. Anyways, now the next one, which fuck is it? Oh my god, everything's fucking up. Oh, it's somewhere here. There it is. Fucking hell. The White Album. Right? This is yeah, okay. The White Album. Oh fuck. This one is a hot contender for real trap shit. I can only put one in real trap shit, if you remember. And it is a hot contender for that category. Oh my goodness, this is a crazy album. Where do we start? So, after they go to the studio, and it seems they work a lot on their songs, but they sort of stop working together on their songs, especially on like this album. They start spending a lot of time in the studio, but like they're starting to get like away from each other, it seems. And I think this is the album that marks where like the biggest friction between them starts to appear. And this is they talk about it in the Get Back documentary. Sometimes they're like, yeah, this is what happens on the Beatles album. They talk about it a lot. So many good songs on this album, though. I do not know if I could choose. Oof, man. And these were a lot of songs on this album were made back when they were with Rishikesh in India. And they wrote so many songs during then that a lot of songs from the White Album to Let It Be and Abbey Road to their solo stuff was written back then, right? And they just had so much time to write music that they wrote so much that it like fed them for a long time, fed their creativity for a long time. Like stuff like Dear Prudence was written there. Obla Dibla Da was written somewhere else, I think. But yeah, but stuff like Wild Honey Pie, I think the story goes that just Paul was in the studio and he just made that on his own. Like everything was done on his own, the drums and the whatever. And so it gives you an idea of like he just made it by himself when no one else was there. And so there was not a lot of cooperation with each other other than just been like, hey, this is a song I want to work on. Come, if you guys can come in and we'll record something and then we'll overdub later. Right? So a lot of friction comes in. So it's like, a lack of George Harrison songs that he presented to them, and they kept, rejecting since for a long time. It's not like this is a new thing. They had been rejecting George songs, or at least Paul had been. I don't know. They probably both were, but they were rejecting George Harrison songs since, I think, about Rubber Soul Revolver, if my memory serves me right. So it's not like it's a new thing that they were doing that. But definitely there's a severe lack of George Harrison songs on this album. It's fine. You can't change the past or anything. And I like I'm a Paul McCartney lover, so having a song, an album where most of the songs are Paul McCartney songs is, it's fine. Man, there's so many good songs in this album. Dear Prudence, Back in the USSR, Gently Weeps, Warm Gun, Martha My Dear, So Tired, Blackbird, particularly probably one of the most popular songs on this album, other than "Oh My Guitar Gently Reaps," Rocky Raccoon, which inspired, I think, Guardians of the Galaxy guy, the raccoon from that. I forget his name. Is it Rocky? I don't know. Don't Pass Me By, a Ringo song. Why Don't We Do It on the Road? A very interesting song. I Will, Julia, Birthday, Your Blues, Mother Nature's Son. Everybody's got something behind except for me and my monkey. 60 City. Elder Skills. Revolution 1. Revolution 1, which is the inferior version just to Revolution, because it's more bluesy. It's like Revolution, where the other one where like John plugged his guitar straight into the whatever, and it was very distorted, and then he played Revolution. It was very cool. It was very cool and like metally, right? Say you want a revolution. Went harder. And Honey Pie. Whew. Very, I don't even know, what do you call that kind of song? Like number, as they might put it. I don't know. What would you call it? Like almost like it would be played like at a play or something. Honey Pie. Savoy Truffle, which is a very good one. It's about Eric Clapton, right? Who likes to eat sweets. Cry, baby, cry. This album has a very unique sound to it, I think. Because it was recorded in Abbey Road, right? So most of the songs are recorded in Abbey Road, but contrasting everything else recorded in this era, I don't know, has a certain sound to it. Maybe it wasn't recorded in Abbey Road. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. Yeah, Abbey Road. Never mind. Okay. Oh, man, I don't know what song I like on this album. Like there's so many good ones on this, and this is their longest album, 30 songs. How long did it take them? 68. They're literally a year from their last album. The release of their last album, obviously. Release does not mean they recorded, because they do weird time shit. But yeah, if I had to say what my favorite song of this album is, it's none of the popular ones. I like Guitar Gently Weeps as much as the next guy, and it's one of those songs that is super popular, but I still like it. So I think that says something about that song. And I've heard this song maybe not millions of times, but a lot of times, and I still like it every time. So, take that as you will. For me, it's like between Martha My Dear, I Will, Mother Nature's Son, Helter Skelter, Dear Prudence. And everybody's got something to hide except Monkey. I think, though, my favorite is probably Mother Nature's Son. I'm a little biased to that song, too. Because it was one of the first songs I ever learned on the guitar as well. And it's just so good. I don't know, it's like that somber Paul McCartney playing. It's just super addicting to listen to. And I I'm a Paul McCartney lover, so let me post this in chat. We will listen to it together. And you can hear the beautiful sound of McCartney. Alright, I'm at 0. Count down from 3, and when I say go, you play. 3, 2, 1, go. Doo-doo. It's also a very fun song to play on guitar. On a boy, country boy. Ba 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 bam. Dum 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 dum. Bay bong bam. Bingy bingy bongs from baby bum. Try not to get bonked by YouTube again because they did not like me last time. Sit beside a mountain stream, see our waters rise. Boom, 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 boom. Listen to the pretty sounds of music. She fly. They had like horns to this one, but I kind of like it when it's by itself. I'm not even gonna lie. Like you'll hear it on the if you listen to like the anthology version, it doesn't have horns, it's just him playing double tracking it or something like that. It's very good. Dove Grass, Mother Nature's Son. Sing a lazy song beneath the sun. Do 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 bop 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 bada bop bop. Bop 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 do do bop bop. That ascending thing just really, I love like descending stuff like that. Boom 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 boom. Mother Nature's Son. Oh, just so good. Such a good song. Yeah, it's my favorite. I'm confident. It's my favorite one out of all those, for sure. Out of every song. And I can easily put this in A, for sure. But I could also easily put this in Real Trap Shit. But we'll hold off. We'll hold off. Because I'm not sure. Or I am. We'll hold off though. The next well, let me grab coffee. Okay. The next one is Yellow Submarine. Now, it's technically an album because they like had some work to do with it. I'm pretty sure it was recorded. Some of the stuff was recorded before White Album, right? Like Hey Bulldog, which is, we'll just, we don't even have to worry about it. It's the best song on that album. I mean, and it has some, the footage from it is very, very, very cool. And the story of it is pretty interesting as well. I think it goes, they were recording Hey Madonna, or Lady Madonna. Lady Madonna. And someone stole the video. Someone just stole it from wherever. I don't even know. Someone done fucked up, and they stole it from them. They stole it was they were shooting promo videos, and they just stole the video for Lady Madonna. But they did find that they also recorded Hey Bulldog the same day, and they recorded, they had the camera there, so they recorded that too. And so if you go and look on the Beatles channel for Lady Madonna, they're just playing Hey Bulldog, and they just put it over them playing Hey Bulldog. But if you look up Hey Bulldog, they just sync it right to what they're doing, right? And it's very, it's a good song. Probably one of my favorite, because it's a fun song, and it's one of the first where you can see them recording it like in actual real time, and you can just see how much fun they're having, like a genuine actual fun they're having just making this song. A nonsense song, as John would put it. Sheepdog standing in the rain. Okay, let me post it. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun, dun. All right, well, let's do it now. Count down from 3, and I'll say go, and you play. 3, 2, 1, go. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh. Your dog standing in the rain. Bullfrog doing it again. Playing his Rickenbacker. He played that a lot. Like in the future. Jackknife in your sweaty hands. Some kind of innocence is measured out in years. To listen to your fears. Goes hard too. You can't talk to me. Lonely, you can't talk to me. Yeah, but to give a little more on the Submarine album, it's just reused songs, and I think it's just like George Martin music. It's George Martin like orchestral stuff that he made specifically for the movie, and it just, it's good and all, but it's not like Beatles, right? This is the only thing that's actual new and Beatles, and it doesn't deserve to be on this album. I'm just gonna say it. It deserves to be somewhere else. It deserves to be on the White Album or on Let It Be or Abbey Road, anywhere else. This is just a good song, and it didn't deserve to get this to be on this album, but it is, and it's the best song on this album because of it, because it's just a good song. You can't talk to me. Doom, 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 doom. You can't talk to me if you're lonely. You can't talk. Boom, 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 boom. John Lennon with his crazy sideburns back then. Doom, doom. Bulldog. Oh. Bulldog. Bulldog. Amen. So, then it fades, and then get a little bit of dialogue. It's funny. But such a good song, and it does not deserve to be on this album. It deserved to be somewhere else, but it did. And the story is interesting, that, they could have easily stolen, the Hey Bulldog stuff, and we would have gotten the Lady Madonna, and it probably would have been reversed. Whoever stole that shit, I just wonder, right? Like, I wonder, like, if best case scenario here, right? Someone's grandpa was like, had the opportunity. They're like, I'm gonna steal Beatles footage, right? And he stole it, right? And now, it's just sitting in an attic or a basement or wherever, just rotting away. Hopefully not actually rotting away, but like just sitting there. And then, maybe one day, way after Paul McCartney and Ringo are dead, someone's going to find it, and their grandpa's going to be way dead as well. Maybe they already are dead. Who knows? And they're going to go through his shit, and they're going to find a reel, and they're going to be like, what the fuck is this? It's going to say, well, probably it's not going to say Lady Madonna. They're probably smart enough to scratch it out. Maybe it will say Lady Madonna. I don't know. But whatever. They're like, what the fuck? And they'll, then they'll just like, be like, well, whatever. And then they'll like, and then either two things happen. Either they have no clue what the fuck it is. Even if they do play it, it's like, oh, it's just Beatles, right? Why do they have this? Oh, whatever. And they'll sell it off. And it'll go through a couple hands. People will just be like, that's Beatles video. That, it probably already exists, right? What the fuck, right? And then some guy's gonna see it. And he's gonna be like, what the fuck? Someone who knows, right? Because I think it's a popular story in the Beatles like lore, right? Where it's like the Lady Madonna footage is gone, right? And someone who knows he's gonna see that and be like, what the fuck? No way you have this. They're like, what? It's just like this has been missing for like 50 years. Or whenever it's discovered, right? That's the best case scenario. The worst case is that they had it in their house and someone just threw it away, or it got ruined, or they got fucked up somehow, right? Like the niece found it and started like ripping it apart or something. The baby niece, of his, whoever stole it, came, start ripping it apart, or it was like sold to some like bootlegger, and then they were like, they didn't do anything with it, and then it just got blown up somewhere. Who knows? Hopefully one day it comes out. Hopefully, because it exists, right? It's someone stole it, and it's just gone to time. Nothing you can do about it. I hope that's the story. Like, I don't think I'm lying. But yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think I can easily put this here, because as much as I love Hey Bulldog, one song ain't gonna save this album. It can't save this album. So it goes in here, and it fills my criteria up here. Okay. Now the next album to be released, but not recorded in the, like, part of me wants to do this because there's a story here, right, between these two albums, right? And part of me wants to just do it this way, right? but I've been kind of going through them orderly, right? But it'd be so much easier to tell it since I just watched the Get Back this documentary. We'll do it this order because it's easier to tell the story of the albums this way, and it's easier. Okay, so this is the order they were released in. However, they were recorded this way. I think this one was recorded in we can see 1967 68, I think. 19 let's see, recorded in 1968, 1969, and 1970. But I think it was mainly recorded in 1968. The bulk of it, or no. Or the bulk of it was recorded in 1969, January 1969. So, and then let me see when Abbey Road was recorded, so I can get a better picture of everything, right? February and August of 1960. Okay, so if you've seen the Peter Jackson Get Back documentary, this album was something else. It started off as an idea. Hey Jude, and that very, very recognizable video was filmed at a place called Twickenham Studio or something. I think that's what it's called, Twickenham. And they had this big old thing going on. I don't know exactly what was going on, but like something was going on. And they had a big old like orchestra piece over there. And they recorded Hey Jude, right? And they had these people the audience come up stage, and they were like, na 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 na, Hey Jude, 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 Jude. Yeah. And that was a single, and it was very popular. It's still popular today. It's a very good song. One of my favorite Beatles songs. I have a lot of favorite Beatles songs, but it doesn't matter. It's a good song. But they want to recapture this feeling. And also, they enjoyed playing live. I think that was one of the things that pushed them to want to play live again. And as well as the people around them. They wanted the Beatles to go back on stage. For more people, right? Or to play more music as well. And so the idea for this album was to make like a TV special at Twickenham to to play live, and that would be the album, right? And so they go to Twickenham, shit's fucking up, and some of the friction that was present during the White Album is also present here, where, they don't collectively feel like they have, or this is my interpretation, based on what I saw in the documentary, but it feels like they don't collectively have a one goal. They all sort of want to do their own thing, and they are doing their own thing to a certain extent, but when it comes to Beatles stuff, they have no clue what direction they're trying to go. And I think a lot of it goes on to Paul, and he seems like he wants to try to do something or try to push it into a direction, but nobody wants to follow, and for good reason. It's not like they're just being lazy or something, but like it's just they're not really sure as well. And so it's very, particularly they're at Twickenham, and they have to record this album in like 2 days or 2 weeks or something like that. So not a lot of time, right? Or they have to make songs up that they can, or not really record, but that they can play live. So they can't use what they've been doing before, which was they would record music, and then whoever needs to go play whatever can go play it, and they don't all have to be in the studio at the exact same time, right? But now after a long time, they're playing music together and they're making music together. They're coming up with songs together, and they're deciding like what to make, right? Like, and it's very nice to watch, right? Even in Twickenham, there's some parts where it's like, wow, these guys had some crazy chemistry together, and it's amazing to see happen. And I just love watching the process of things. And in this, you know, at Twickenham, you know, Paul McCartney's making like, you know, he makes Get Back, and then they're figuring out the songs, and, you know, and during this time, they're trying to figure, they're grasping at every song they have, right? They like, and they have, and they're making new songs during this time. And a lot of the songs are also songs like Maxwell Silverhammer, Oh Darling, Golden Slumbers, as well as some of the solo stuff they'll make, like Give Me Some Truth and Backseat of Your Car and Not Guilty. You know, a lot of these songs, and they're just grasping for new songs for the TV special. Long story short, TV special doesn't happen. They decide, well, we still want to do something. They go to their newly made Apple Studios, figure out the songs there, gain Billy Preston in the process, because they weren't doing so well without him. And once they get him, they're chugging along the songs. And then, you know, they figure out to just, you know, they want to end this album, you know, like still playing together, doing a live performance together. And so the decision was made to do it on the rooftop of the Apple studio, and they did, and it was very good. Yeah, that's the album. That's the story of that album, which is amazing. It's an incredible, like, I don't know, story. It's so story driven, and seeing the documentary really put I don't know. I always knew that, like, you know, the Beatles were like, you can't be together for 10 years and not at least like each other a little bit. And thank God I got into the Beatles during the era where people were starting to debunk a lot of the old thoughts of Beatles lore, right? Of, like, you know, Yoko broke up the band, or Paul was the reason the band, whatever, broke apart or whatever. And also dispelling that they were like, they hated each other during this time, right? That they just loathed each other. But in reality, that could have been farther from truth. They really did enjoy making music together, and they wouldn't have stayed together for this long if they didn't, right? And it's very, you know, very wholesome. And the end of the documentary is very also bittersweet as well, knowing that that was the last time they ever played together. Yeah. Now to get to the actual songs of this album. I absolutely adore this album. Really, I do. And I like every single song on it. Even the little, just like, you know, Maggie May and For You Blues or whatever. I love every song on this album. And the documentary only reinforces it. And also to explain why it was released a year after. It was, you know, a year after Abbey Road, even though it was recorded before, is because they were already making a documentary back then about the album, and it didn't come out as like it could have. It was very lackluster, and it didn't show anything that we saw in the Peter Jackson version. But during that time, they didn't really know what to do with the footage, and so for a long time they just held off publishing the album. And in that time, they literally recorded a whole other album, and so they held off on publishing this album until then, until they figured out what they were gonna do with the documentary. And they released a terrible version of it, which I've seen, and yeah, it's not as good as, it's like not even close to the Peter Jackson version. But anyways, the songs on this album are so good. I think mainly because they're just simple songs, right? And particularly like the Paul McCartney Lover, and the Paul McCartney the Paul McCartney, his music really shines in this album. I feel that like his music just really shines, and it's so good. Two of Us, Dig a Pony, Cross Universe, I Mean Mine, Dig It, Let It Be, Maggie May, Got a Feeling, One After 99, Long and Winding Road, For You Blue, and Get Back. You know, Let It Be is definitely one of the most popular songs, one of the most popular Beatles songs, period. People know of that song and may not even know that it's Beatles. But I'm pretty sure I know what my favorite song of this album is. I've sang it before for you guys. Oh my god, not a good version, but I have sang it before, and it is. Oh, and we get a video too. Okay, we got a video too. It is The Long and Winding Road, for sure. The Long and Winding Road. It's such a, like, I don't know. It resonates with me in a weird way that I don't even know how to explain, even to myself. I don't even know how I should explain it to myself, but it hits a little too hard, honestly. Sometimes I get a little like choked up when I listen to that song. But it's such a good song. All right. I'm going to count down from 3, and when I say go, you hit play. 1, 2, or 3, 2, 1, go. Get winding road. I'll just turn off the music a little bit, just a little bit, so you can't hear my headphone bleed over. To your door. All this footage is from, like, I think the Get Back documentary, and it looks so good compared to the original. And it's like they use like AI stuff. There's so many like key things in this one. Like, this documentary wouldn't have been as good as it would have been if it wasn't made today, right? Or as it is, if it wasn't made today, because it used like AI, machine learning to, you know, block out certain things in the audio, and it used, you know, upscaling and whatever to make it look good. Ugh. And something about this documentary that also was just like so good was that it really like humanized them, because, you know, it's easy to see them as just like, I don't know, caricatures and just like a character, right? But watching the documentary, it was like I don't know, it felt like they were just humans, like they were just people making music and enjoying themselves, right? And just fucking around all the time. You'll never know the many ways I've tried, but still they lead me back to the long winding road. Apparently Paul McCartney did not like the orchestral arrangement on this song, but I like it. Long time ago. Oh, oh. Keep me waiting, yeah. Lead me to your door. Yeah, it's just song. It's a song that just feels, I don't know, bittersweet. This album is just bittersweet because I don't know. It felt like the watching the documentary. It felt like their last chance. Even back then, just watching it, it felt like their last chance to figure things out. And then by the time Abbey Road was recorded and released, it was just too late, I guess. And the friction between them and the diverging creative ideas, I guess, was just too much. And that it just had to end someday. The audio is really shit, but I think the video is cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So good. Such a good song. I like it more than Let It Be, for sure. Man, oh man. Yeah. We'll hold off on this one. We'll hold off on that one. And we'll just go straight to Abbey Road. Abbey Road is like the most iconic. I think maybe back then people saw Sgt. Pepper as the most iconic. I think it's very iconic, but it's not as iconic as Abbey Road. You will often see it in like a lot of media. Like Abbey Road, you know, the four dudes four dudes walking the crosswalk is the most iconic thing most people ever see, right? People are like, oh, that's Beatles, right? Or even if not, they'll just say Abbey Road, right? It's very iconic. It's a very iconic album for good reason. It's a good album, very good album. And it's something that they did was the Beatles melody. That is the best thing about that album. I'm just gonna say it. This making the songs sound like it's like never ending. And it's crazy how they put that together, because in the documentary you see how they just have it, the songs are there, but they're not connected in any way, like Me and Mr. Mustard or Polythene Pam or She Came In Through the Bathroom Window or Golden Slumbers, right? Golden Slumbers and Carry That Weight were always together, but and You Never Give Me Your Money as well, like all those songs were just never connected in the first place, but then they figured it out, right? It's very good. It has very iconic songs that come together. Something, Octopus's Garden, Here Comes the Sun, right? One of the best songs on this album is like I Want You So Heavy. It's such a good song too. This is also another hard one. My friend has kind of brainwashed me to like Octopus's Garden. I used to not really like it, but now I like it because it's probably the best Ringo song, and because he made it as well with a lot of help from George, but it's his idea, right? Like it came from his mind, like that, where mostly other Ringo songs were just made for him, right? People were like, just sing this, right? here's your one song, but he made this one, right? Octopus's Garden in the shade. This is a hard one. I love Golden Slumbers too, but like I feel like I'm a Paul McCartney simp at this point. Oh darling, please believe me, I'll never make it alone. But I think it is between Oh Darling, Octopus's Garden, and Golden Slumbers. Even though Golden Slumbers is like a minute and 30 seconds. tell you. Oh my goodness. Mm, I think I'm just gonna have to say it's Oh Darling. Oh Darling is just such an, I don't know, I feel like it's like peak Paul McCartney vocals, and just genuinely is one of my favorite like songs from the Beatles. I keep saying, I probably said that a million times, but so fucking good. You don't even know. And I'll be honest, my opinions on like Beatles songs change all the time. Like I never have consistent feelings about like their songs and their music. Like never. Like every year it'll change. All right, count down from there and on go. I'll hit play. 3, 2, 1, play. And let me try the music. Please believe me. Bow. This song, man, Paul McCartney's vocals is just like my favorite. Me when I tell you, because he's like very sweet in this first part, right? Boom, 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 boom. Darling, very just like sweet Paul McCartney sound. You leave me, I'll never make it alone. No, little bit of like you can hear a little bit of the guttural. Leave me where I take you. So good. Need me. Deep, and then oh, boom, 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 boom. And then it gets like heavy. Believe me, darling. Wait. And then the scream. Oh my god. You never leave me anymore. And died when you told me. How does he do that? Leave me anymore. Well, you know, I nearly broke down and died. Oh, darling. So good. His vocal range is just like, I don't know. It's like my favorite. That's my favorite. Believe me when I tell you, I'll never do you no harm. Leave me, darling. When you told me anymore. This album definitely has like Paul McCartney's best, like some of his best like vocal performances for sure in his like career, I think, including like Wings and other things. When you know and cried, oh darling. Oof. Believe me, darling. Believe me when I tell you. Oh, so good. So good. Oh, so fucking good. Oh my god. Yeah, definitely my favorite like Paul McCartney song on that album. Definitely my favorite song on that album for sure. And so now I mean, I'll be honest. I already knew what I was gonna put first. I already knew what was gonna be the real trap shit. And it is gonna be. Is gonna be. Let It Be. I love this album so much. I've listened to it probably more than any other Beatles song. It's such a good album. And the documentary only made me like love it more. I already loved it before. It's my favorite. The songs are fun to play. The songs are fun to sing. And it's the last album you could say that they had like genuine, I think, yeah, there's problems with it. There's problems like with the whole thing. But it seems like they had a lot of fun here. And then after recording like Abbey Road, it was just like, just shit. They shit themselves and they could not wipe. They were unable to wipe. So, things went bad. And it's funny because, like John left the group. He said he didn't want to be in the group no more, but they weren't going to make it public. And I don't know how they were, but they weren't going to make it public, I think, until after they released Let It Be, right? Because it was going to come out like 1980 or whatever. But Paul McCartney was like, fuck that. And he was recording before they ended his own like solo album, right? That's where Paul McCartney, the self-titled album, comes from. And he released it before, and they got very mad at him. Because then it was like sort of signifying to the world. That's why a lot of people thought Paul broke up the Beatles, because he released his solo album first, right? And people were very mad at him. Not only just like John Paul, what? John was angry at Paul, but John and like the Beatles were angry at him, but the world was angry at him because they were like, you broke up the Beatles, you fuck. And it was a whole big old ordeal or whatever. But I think Let It Be was just like a good album. It was a good album, and the documentary that came out with it was just But it was all in good. It was all it worked out in the end. Whatever. 30-40 years later, we got the damn Peter Jackson version, and it was all worth it. But it, like I said, it was like the album that was like their last chance to fix things, but nothing was really fixed. It was just like to quote them, it was a wound left to fester, and they stopped giving each other bandages, and things went bad. But their solo careers were good. Maybe one day I'll rate them. This was already a long stream, but this is a good album. Regardless of anything, it still goes like top of the line. If I could put in real trap shit, I would, but I'm not. It's my rule that I set, arbitrary rule. But I'll even do this. I'll do boop, nip. There you go. Maybe it was a good thing that they ended when they did. Because I feel like every album they made was just an improvement after improvement after improvement after improvement. And their last 3 albums are probably their best 3 albums, right? I would say. I think those are their best 3 albums. And you can make the argument that they Sgt. Pepper Beyond is a totally different era from Revolver down. I could see that. And that's how I kind of view the Beatles music, is where it's like, all right, please please me to like, maybe even not even Revolver, maybe like please please me to like Rubber Soul, and then like Revolver to Let It Be. But it's how you see it. It just depends how you see it, I guess. But yeah, this is definitely like how I feel about this, how I feel about the Beatles stuff. My goodness. It took a while. Oh, but it was very fun to like just nerd out for a bit. Man. Yeah. Yeah, the Beatles albums, they're just transformation from like the rock group to what they eventually became, which is amazing. And if you have not seen the Peter Jackson Get Back film, I recommend that you do, because it's so damn good. Yeah, even if you don't like the Beatles, I think just seeing the music process back then and some of the, you know, and it's a good story. Even if you don't like Beatles, it's a good story of like, you know, it's almost cliche. They have to make an album in 14 days. You know, it's a good story. It's a very good story. And the rooftop performance is worth it. See him have, I like seeing him have fun. Okay, you know, and I want that myself. I want to be able to record music and play on a rooftop and have fun. Maybe one day. Okay. Whew, my voice is starting to die. Or not die, but I can feel it. I'm very tired today, so I've been chugging coffee all night, or not all night, but all morning. So we'll end it here. I hope you enjoyed this like new form. You know, I didn't want to just like only do gaming on here. And I really felt like talking about something that interested me, like a creative outlet. Yeah, something creative to just release my inner rage at. Release my inner rage. Rage Shadow Legends. And my inner Beatles like nerd. I really like the Beatles. And you can, if you want. You know, if you have a refined music taste like myself. Yeah. Next thing I do is probably just gonna be gaming. Probably. So, yeah. And regardless, I hope everyone from the past, present, and future have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you the next time I stream. All right. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.